Welcome back to Arise Exchange. You know the names Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry when it comes to African-American media power players. But it is Byron Allen who has, some would say, been quietly leading the industry for decades. This week, though, he made a lot of noise by launching a $20 billion lawsuit against the likes of Comcast and Time Warner Cable, accusing them of systematically discriminating against minority programmers. And the suit alleges they are helped by civil rights leaders, including the Reverend Al Sharpton. Byron Allen, the CEO of Entertainment Studios, joins us now by phone to talk about this lawsuit. Byron, welcome to Arise Exchange. It's an honor to have you on the program.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you having me on.
Okay, so I have the lawsuit here, and it does quite say a lot here. How do you draw the connection in the suit between the lack of what you say, diverse programming and programming produced by African Americans, and an actual racist and discriminatory plan by these companies? Because you're going to have to draw that connection to win this.
Absolutely. Well, it's not about what is 100% African-American targeted. We're not talking about targeted. We're talking about what's owned. It's ownership. This is an ownership conversation. So Time Warner, Comcast and Time Warner collectively spend approximately $25 billion a year licensing cable networks and advertising. Of that $25 billion per year that they spend, less than $3 million per year goes to truly 100% African-American owned media. And there is the financial atrocity. So when this was brought to Comcast's attention, when they tried to buy NBC Universal, I stepped in and I opposed the merger unless they addressed this. They then started their shenanigans and put forth this fraudulent MOU where they would do 4 African-American owned, 4 Hispanic owned, and 2 others. And they got Al Sharpton and the NAACP and the Urban League to sign this fraudulent memorandum of understanding, this MOU, after giving them substantial donations that they had never seen before the announcement of this merger.
Yeah, you're basically saying, because Al Sharpton is named in this lawsuit as well as others, that they are being paid off. And today in the Huffington Post, it quotes you as saying, quote, Al Sharpton is the least expensive Negro to cover their tracks. Pretty inflammatory statements. What is driving you to specifically go after Al Sharpton here? Sharpton is, by the way, an employee of Comcast since he hosts a show on MSNBC.
Correct. That's part of this payoff. So because he signed the MOU and endorsed Comcast's acquisition of NBC Universal, they rewarded him with cash and they rewarded him with a television show. That's why he's on MSNBC, and he can barely speak, he can barely form a sentence, and every night it's an hour of adult illiteracy. And they're paying him as if there aren't more qualified African-American journalists in this beautiful country of ours, America. So he took the payment and said that this is okay. It's racist to even suggest that there is a black person who speaks for all black people. As I've said before, my wife happens to be white, and I asked her, who's the white guy who speaks for all white people? It doesn't exist.
Well, okay, and I should say that Al Sharpton says he plans to sue you for defamation here. When you look at the media landscape, though, because you're talking about 100% owned African-American companies, if you look at what's out there, you do have Magic Johnson. He has a new channel. Oprah obviously is a major player on cable television. BET is one of the most successful, formerly black-owned cable channel, but one of the most successful channels for Viacom. So on the face of it, it does look like there is diversity out there.
Well, okay, let's get it right. So diversity and minority, those aren't the words, because when you define diversity and minority, quite often that's women and that's white women, and not 100% African-American owned. You pointed out that Viacom owns BET. It's not African-American owned. Part of the lawsuit is that, we state in the lawsuit that Magic Johnson's network is really controlled by Leo Hendry, who is white, and they don't pay sub fees to Magic's network. They pay it to Leo Hendry's network up. We also say that Revolt is controlled by Highbridge Capital, a private equity firm. And private equity firms are quite often predatory, looking for anywhere 15 to 30% return on their money. They control Revolt. Revolt is a private equity firm now run, or a part of it, the key management is a former Comcast executive named Payne Brown. Mm-hmm. Highbridge Capital is owned by J.P. Morgan.
Okay, so Byron, what is...
But on the board of J.P. Morgan is the #2 executive of Comcast, Steve Burke.
Okay, so what is...
Everybody needs to follow the numbers, follow the money. And if you look at the numbers and you look at the money, 100% African-American-owned media, which is virtually extinct, doesn't receive any money. And the last thing I want to point out, this is very important, very important. AT&T, who we're also suing for $10 billion, has given Al Sharpton more money for his lavish 60th birthday party than what they spent on Ebony magazine, which has a circulation to over 10 million African Americans in America, and they've been around 70 years. AT&T only buys $30,000 per year in ads from Ebony.
Okay, so Byron, what is your end goal here with the lawsuit? You're obviously raising attention to this issue. You're obviously trying to call out black civil rights leaders who position themselves, at least as civil rights leaders, for what you were obviously arguing is a conflict of interest. What do you want to see done here?
A lot of things I'm going to have done here. Number one, make it very clear to corporate America, no black person speaks for all black people. All black people speak for themselves. That's number one. Number two, it is in the best interest of America to have a better America when all Americans are participating in the economic dream. They need to do business with us in a fair and equitable way, the way we do business with them.
Okay.
And number three, if this isn't corrected, I will spend a great deal of money educating everybody involved, and I will personally deliver the African-American vote to the front door of the Republican Party.
Byron Allen.
The stake there is the White House in 2016 if Obama doesn't get this right.
Okay, Byron Allen, the CEO of Entertainment Studios. Thank you for walking us through the lawsuit and appreciate you coming on today.
You got it. Thank you.